Hello, Southern Arizona trip scholars. Hope you guys are having a great trip. We missed you in class this week. Here is bell work that you missed. As mentioned previously, you're exempt from everything that we did in class this week, or the one day of class this week that you missed. And the idea behind that is I wanted you guys to enjoy your trip and not have to worry about stressing out about anything that you were missing in class. One thing that you did miss in class or yesterday or today, depending on whether you're A day or B day, that I did want to briefly go over was the Socratic seminar question types. This was bell work, and then we had a brief 10-minute conversation about this and question and answer period in class. So this is the main thing that you missed that I want you to catch up on, and you'll need to know this for the homework. The homework has you answering questions. Let me pull that up real quick. Has you answering these or asking these three types of questions: level 1, level 2, level 3. As you can see, that's homework. Read chapters 6 and 7. Complete the 3 entrance ticket questions. You're only doing 3 questions this time, but you're doing one for each of the levels: level 1, level 2, and level 3. So that's what we talked about in class today. And bell work was scholars just came in, grabbed this from the bell work tray, read it during bell work, and whatever questions they had, we went over it and answered those questions. It's pretty straightforward. Just take a look at it. Here you have the definitions of concrete level 1, meaning level 2, and connection level 3 questions, and examples of each. So if you do have any questions about these, let me know. Again, pretty straightforward, I think. Everybody felt pretty good about it in class. Concrete level 1 is basically, the bottom line is, if you can point to a page in the book and get the answer to your question, then that means that's a concrete level question, level 1. It focuses on facts and details. I'm going to call it plot. We've had this distinction all year between plot and theme. So these are plot type questions. These are facts related to the setting, the characters, and their actions. In other words, plot. They're facts and details that can be found in the story. Again, if you can find the answer to whatever you're asking on a certain page of the book, say page 79, second paragraph, second to last sentence, then you know you've got a concrete level question. These questions, again, when I say fact, it doesn't mean a fact in the real world. It doesn't mean it has to be true in the real world. It just means a fact as far as the book is presenting the information. So we would never argue about or have a meaningful discussion about a concrete level 1 question because, for example, if you're asking, well, how much money did Billy need to save up to buy the dogs? It's not like one person could say $50, another person $60, another person $160. That wouldn't be an interesting discussion because somebody at some point would just say, excuse me, Mr. Hill, look on page 76, second paragraph. It says Billy has to save up $50. End of discussion. Concrete level 1 questions make great quiz questions and test questions where you just need a simple answer, like, for example, multiple choice. And you can grade. Basic idea behind these questions is, did you do the reading? Do you have the foundation? The real interesting questions for Socratic seminars that I want you guys to level up, and by the way, that's the whole idea behind this Socratic seminar question type handout. I want you guys to level up your question types. The whole idea behind this is that we start progressing to more meaning questions and connection questions. Meaning questions are your opinions and what you think the message the author is trying to send that goes beyond the book itself. These are questions in which we can close the book and we can just have a conversation about it. It's the whole idea behind Socratic seminars. So it's our opinions. It's what do you think it means that, for example, if a question like how does the dog respond to the harsh cold differently than the man, we can point to paragraph 22 in that description of how the dog was hesitant to leave the fire and it seemed to be resistant to going out in the cold like it knew better. The more interesting question than that description from the book itself or the text, the short story, is what does this mean? What message was the author trying to send? What do you think about it? What's your opinion? What lesson is Jack Rawls trying to teach us? Maybe in a question like, what does the dog's survival instinct suggest about nature's wisdom versus human knowledge? Maybe saying that dogs belong in nature and people don't, at least in extreme harsh environments such as the Yukon when it's 50 below. That animals' instincts should be trusted over a human's intelligence. Interesting. That's a level 2 question, as are all these other examples. So just take a look at these. Connection questions, I think, are the most valuable for me. Those are level 3. If level 1 questions are plot driven, level 2 are theme driven, then level 3 is more about association. They're association driven. I'm interested in how the events that are happening in the book, these events, these characters, the setting, the plot events, are things that you can connect to through your own life, through other, your own experiences, through other books you've read, and just real life in general, which you know to be real life. So a question like, how were Buck's survival instincts similar to and different from the dog in To Build a Fire? How would you have been different? Have you ever been in a cold environment? How did you feel? All those questions are connection questions. In the case of this, we're connecting with this question here. We're connecting To Build a Fire to Call of the Wild. But you could also connect the story to Where the Red Fern Grows. If you were to ask, hey, how would the story Where the Red Fern Grows have been different if the setting had been the Yukon? If Buck had been in the Ozarks, how would it have been different? If Old Ann and Little Ann had been in the Yukon, how would they have been different? And Billy, and maybe if he was training them to hunt rabbits in the Yukon versus raccoons in the Ozarks. These are just interesting questions to consider in deepening our understanding and ultimately connecting to the books ourselves. Our next Scratch seminar is coming up this week's Scratch seminar, Socratic seminar number 2 for this book, Call of the Wild and To Build a Fire being the focus point. And that's going to be Monday for a day, by the way. This is just the Tuesday slideshow. It covers this entire book, and it'll be our focus point. But for this one, I really want you guys to make those connection questions. Come up with those connection questions. You can connect it to other stories we've read in class. Not only Where the Red Fern Grows, but also Little Girls Wiser Than Men, The Giving Tree. If you can make a connection between The Giving Tree and maybe To Build a Fire, that'd be amazing. Or The Call of the Wild with, let's say, your personal book that you read last August. That would be amazing, unbelievable if you could do that. We had people reading everything from Stephen King to you name it. I mean, the Hunger Games. We had just every book that you can imagine. People were reading or every genre you can think of. All those genres that we considered back last August or July when we were studying genres were covered, from romance to horror and everything in between. So if you can make connections to those books that you read last August to either one of these stories, that'd be amazing. Or experiences you've had. That's the beauty of connection questions, is personal experiences you've had. I want you to bring 3 entrance ticket questions, complete the handout. That's homework. It looks like this. Specifically, the homework is this. So come up with those 3 different questions. Focus on meaning questions and connection questions, even though I'm asking for one of each, just so we can distinguish the 3 different ones. At many points during the seminar, I'll stop and ask you guys. I'll stop you in your tracks and I'll ask you, hey, what type of question was that? And I'll expect everyone to have an idea of whether it was a level 1, 2, or 3 question. Yeah, Mr. Hill, that was a level 2 question, or oh, that was a level 3 question, or perhaps even level 1. I want to continue to build on the conversation. I don't want yes, no, or simple answers or closed answers. I want meaningful conversation, meaningful discussion. This is the skill that we're building in 7th grade, and the way you get there to the next level is by following this type of question sequence, building from concrete to meaning to connection. These are tools that you can carry with you, not only that we'll be using and emphasizing in all of our Socratic seminars in this class, in my class going forward, starting next week. Not only am I expecting you to showcase this and exhibit these skills starting next week, but these are skills that you're going to need to be successful in life, not only your school life, but your personal life. So it's always good if you can have meaningful discussions and connect to other people and connect to other stories and connect to other experiences. That's a very, very valuable skill to have. So we're going to start building on that. If you have any questions on this, let me know. Like I said, it's pretty straightforward as far as just the handout and the material that you missed. But still, I wanted to give you just a little bit of a short tutorial on this and go over it real quick. Again, hope you guys are having a great trip. Looking forward to getting you back in class.